think if I had got another set on the head, they might have needed to call a helicopter.
Welcome to the Insiders, and that is a wrap on the WSL until April for the Championship Tour. Obviously, there's the Changers, which is going to be fun, but finals day is done. We're coming in the night after it happened. Seemed like I was waiting quite a long time, but yeah. How are you, Darren?
I'm not bad, Matt. I'm starting to come back to the life of the living, but we'll speak of that later. Um, I caught up on as much as I could. I don't want viewers to think that I'm unprofessional, but it's just like that when something happens in the middle of a night on a
Yeah.
work day. Huh? It wasn't really catered to Europe, from what I can understand. But they can't just cater to Europe all the time, can they?
They don't care about us.
They don't care about us one little bit. I was super, super, super disappointed when I first saw the start of the comp. I made it through to the end of Jack's heat, not even 5 minutes into the end of Jack's heat. I kind of saw from 5 minutes in he had no chance. And I think it wasn't necessarily because he didn't have a chance. It just looked like for him he didn't have a chance.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with all of that. I kind of have made a list of things that I wanted to talk about so that I don't forget any. And Jack is at the top of that. Um, People in England might understand what I'm about to say. Maybe in Europe, not that many other people would. But he has a very Tottenham feel about Jack. It's a very there's a phrase in England saying it's a bit Spursy, and it's when Tottenham Hotspur, the football club, will, if they're in a semi-final of a cup, they'll play amazingly and they'll look like the best team in the world. And then they get to the final and they just look out of place and out of sorts and like something was off. Like and you not even bad, just off. And every final day that he's been in, Jack Robinson has done the same thing, which is
I saw him in some of the warm-up surfs on some of those fun lefts, and he looked insane. I
I
was just
know.
thinking,
Yeah.
insane. I know it just happens. People get on a wrong foot, but it can't be coincidence, can it?
I I don't know. I said in the show in the episode beforehand that there's some element I think, especially the way he lives in his like spiritual way, there is going to be some kickback on the way he behaved at Chopes, and I don't know whether that was the case in the waves being how they were, or you know, he fell more in that one heat than I think he's fallen all year. Like,
Yeah, well, look, I think it's obvious. I think one thing's like extremely obvious is that if it's 10 foot and heaving, that Jack is nearly, let's take John out of the picture. He's nearly in a league of his own, and he just doesn't seem to think or falter. It's like um, clockwork. And if it's not, which it was really a fair way from that, he has to look around in the cupboard, do all these sort of things, try and find the right tools instead of just having it there naturally.
yeah, yeah, and maybe and that's okay. Like, it's completely okay to have a weakness. And like especially when it's kind of hard to compare him to Italo, but then when you saw how well Griffin surfed, which is obviously a lot more of a closer comparison to Jack in
Exactly.
styles and obviously the regular foot, goofy foot thing, like Griff was very, very good, and Jack was the opposite of that.
Cliff
But
comes from a performance wave-based sort of background.
exactly.
Even though Jack was a child prodigy, I think if they had moved him to the East Coast when he was like 12, he maybe would have developed that natural, free-flowing performance, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can have it all. Like none of us thought John Johnny did get there eventually at Trestles, but no one really thought he was gonna, and he kind of got there. And I think it's the same thing about Jack. He's still a bunch of years younger than John John, and really wouldn't surprise me if, like, I thought about that this morning. Really wouldn't surprise me if Jack just won the title next year. Like, won all the premium spots, got a few. I'm not saying he's gonna, Matt. I'm saying it
No, no,
wouldn't.
no. I was just thinking about it. Yeah. I think
Chopu, Pipe, J-Bay, all these sort of hell sort of spots. Fiji's on the tour, isn't it? Or is it?
Fiji's on the tour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like he can all win, but he's going to need good waves. But he can get consistency. I mean, like he's been in the final five the last 5 years. Like,
Yeah, and I think he's got performance waves in his lockup. It's performance lefts, and to be honest, we've all been saying it for years. The tour doesn't have a performance left,
yeah,
and
I
I
was
think
writing it off, and you know what? They got lucky. I mean, they got lucky. They didn't get lucky. They got what they deserved.
I also think,
Let's move off, Jackie, if we'll lose our whole episode.
yeah,
What about Below Caro? Betty Lou, Caroline Marks.
yeah, Caroline kind of just, I think in those waves, a bit similar to Italo against Jack as well. Like, I think being front side at the start of the day really, really helped out because the waves weren't easy. They weren't an easy pace. And I think being front side, you could definitely have more of an advantage to that. And I just think Caroline, in a lot of the warm-ups, she looked really, really good. And I think that she just definitely looked like a step above Betty Lou at that point. Yeah.
A little bit of a comp machine too, Caroline. Like I was on Beach Crit comment at the same time, and I did no, what was it? No, it was one of the commentators said, "Oh, with the form she's showing, she had 5.6. Like she really wasn't. She ta half tagged a left. On that first wave, she looked
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
She looked
yeah.
fast, but there was nothing that she did like exceptional. Not even close. Like if it had been, for example, Molly in that, the five against the four, you know what I mean? Someone that actually put her
Well,
against the wall, that didn't happen, did
I
it?
think you saying that she's a comp machine is a really, really good way of saying it. Is she basically was saying, right, I'm going to get 12 points. I'll get two sixes minimum.
Yeah.
Try and if you can't beat me, that's your fault. And if you beat me with two eights, you beat me, kind of thing. Like, and I did think Caroline Surf really good against everybody. And like I say, I think it played to her advantage, especially in the earlier rounds when it was smaller and she could go front side. Um, but yeah, I think like you say, Comp machined it. She like perfect strategy. She just got 2 6 5s and was like, can you beat 2 6 5s? If you can't, then sweet as a nut, like kind of thing.
Which is weird because Katie could have.
Yeah,
She didn't really get a good crack though, did she? But that's what it is. That's this final five, and I'm still against it. And guy, it's gone. A lot of people are, oh, it's gone, whatever. And I understand that perspective, but I just find it a little bit
yeah. Well,
shallow.
I felt like a couple of the points I've got written down were about the event more than the surfing in it as well, right? And I felt like the hype before the event, right? So I am a massive fan of Ain't That Swell, the podcast. The fact that they pumped out so many podcasts about the event, which were all basically obsolete because they were all talking about this big swell that's going to come and all of this, right?
I didn't hear any of them. I wish I had. Of.
Honestly, I think they done one a day and more some days for all Vaughan on because he was out there. And like, they had some really cool people on it. Like Kelly was on it, and they had like Gabriella Bryant, they had Molly, they had like loads of people. It was really good, like the list of people they got. But they hyped up this event so much. And then you got the finals day as it was, and I was kind of like, oh, it's a bit like this is a bit damp. And then the other thing that I would say, I'm glad that that the final five is over. But if it wasn't, Fiji's not the right place to have it because the fact that there was no fans was shit. Like the fact that when someone done a huge air, there was no hype, there was no like there was no noise, there was no cheers. Like it for me, it missed any kind of peak.
But it isn't a stadium sport, Matt. At the end of the day, like if you want to have a dream tour, you got to have it in locations like that, and that's
Yeah,
where
but
the
then
best
when you think about
was.
Like you think about Burley this year, like the final at Burley was amazing because you had like fans on the beach. You think about Pipe, the finals there.
Well, yeah, that pipes. That's it. Well, there you go. You got that's it. Pipe because Burley's not even a shoe whisperer on Fiji. What I thought was interesting was how they kept plugging me anyway with the Fijians just want to share like their culture and everything with me. What with everyone. Well, they don't want to share it with me because I don't have 2 grand a night to stay there. Like, what's his name? Thor. What's Chris
Yeah,
Hemsworth?
Chris
I don't
Hemsworth.
have
Yeah.
3 grand a night per person, including his kids. So come off the grass, and I don't think it's even the Fijians sharing it, is it? It's the capitalist inbred
Well, the hotel that the WSL were
traders.
plugging
With
was
these hotels, isn't it? We'll
it was
share it
a
with you. You got 3 grand a night.
it was a Marriott hotel, wasn't it, that they were plugging?
Yeah, sorry to yell about that, but I don't
But
get
no,
to
no,
I don't get to share any of that with them
I,
until
I definitely think so. I thought
until I trade in me my bitcoins and on my Trump shares, and then maybe I can go to Fiji.
maybe.
Um, uh,
The other thing that they were seemingly plugging very heavily, and it was doing my head in, was how much they were in love with Matt Violas.
oh, really?
They all they spoke about was
Because I
how,
got nothing to talk
but
about.
it
Seeing
really annoyed me because they started talking about the boards the surfers were on, right? Saying, "Oh, it's amazing, it's a Matt Violas, it's Matt Violas, and Matt Violas," right? But then they didn't talk about the boards. Like at least like when Pete Mel used to be on it and stuff, he would talk about the shapes, he would talk about the boards, he would talk like he'd go deep into it, not just basically go, "Oh, it's great that Matt Byers has got 5 surfers in the final 10." I mean, yeah, cool, he has, but like, so like,
That's why you got to get on the chats, Matty. You got to get on the chats, beach group chats and stuff, because then you just don't hear most of it. And if you do, you can get it out of your system straight away because
yeah,
they'll get better at it, better at it. They were already saying how great it was and the swell's coming, the swell's coming. It actually didn't look too bad by the final. Geordie seemed to honestly, he did as good as he could, didn't he? He got the second, was great year. I'm building
yeah,
into crescendo. I'm building into a crescendo here. Griff surfed incredible, and then Yago just looked like he just wanted to smash everyone out of the park and just quickly got it done.
yeah, Diego buttered it up. Diego was really, really good. Um,
Are you
Jordan,
happy with Yago as a world champ?
100%. Yeah,
100%. There you go. He deserved it. He's unreal. He can do everything.
yeah, deserves it, does everything, does it with style,
Got a
isn't,
cool look.
yeah, he's got a cool kind of core-ish look and like Volcom's core as well and stuff. And I think, yeah, I think he's a really good world champ. I don't think he'll win it next year, but I think he's a really good world champ. And he definitely deserved it this year. It's funny how I was going to mention that Griffin's finished second in the world this year. At Margaret River, he had to make 2 heats to make the cut. That's how good he has been since the cut to
He's
now.
a phenomenal surfer if you don't listen to his mouth dribble. He's just incredible. Frontside, backside, big, small, performance, barrels, airs, power. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm finding it hard to find. I already said that, which is despite myself, but I'm finding it hard to find anyone better than him on tour at the moment. I think well, Yago's better because he beat him,
Oh
didn't he?
yeah.
There you
In
go.
the,
Yago's better, but he's up there. He's up there in that. if he can keep on a roll that he is in the few next years and maybe win a title, he can go down as one of surfing's greats. He's
Yeah.
got
I
it
mean,
all.
he's got the platform to go and do it, and it's whether he goes down as like as someone maybe like Kalohe and maybe a bit like Geordie and maybe a bit like Julian Wilson of like the some of the best to have never won the world title, or whether he gets over that line.
He's eclipsed Chloe because Chloe never even won an event.
Exactly. Yeah. But like talent wise. But yeah, I just thought Griff's last, like since the cut, that is amazing to think like again, everyone was frothing on Jack being this ice cold guy to make the cut in to win tropes and make the event, which is sick, don't get me wrong. But like it kind of let Griff's story go a bit under the radar that he has just gone absolutely ham since the cut. Like to then get to second in the world is just crazy. And it's funny because Italo started that way. Like they've almost had the opposite years. Like Italo looked unbeatable in the first three events, was people were going to say he's going to be world number one all year, he's going to walk it and stuff. And then he had an absolute melt show after he took to Instagram to
I got a bit stressed that I was going to wake up and see Italo champ after he let go of the outside section of Cloudbreak and just sat down the end and did those massive punts. They were massive. They were massive. They needed to get scores. But to quote what conversation that I had with Fipsy 10 days ago at our birthdays, maybe it was 13 days ago. Um, he was like a bit stressed out himself about because he'd been up in Newquay watching um,
Paul Monsters.
the competition up there, and basically he was like, surfing's moved to where you can get these like big scores just on fast, twitchy, closeout bad sections, as opposed to the person that will sit and wait and use the wave to its potential from start to finish, which was what I was a little bit worried about too, because as good as it is, like you want to see someone be able to win the heat or the event from up on the top of the peak and be able to do it all on a wave instead of just that one section.
And on the best
That's
wave.
undeniable. Maybe you've got to say, like, how do they do that? Do they they
Well,
put a
I think that
yellow line in the lineup and say, okay, in each section you're
I think
allocated
I think
3 points.
I think it's all on the judges, right? Like the judges need to understand that being on the best wave of the heat, like you hear it all the time when people say, "Oh, he took off on that wave and it had a score of a five and he surfed it up." Well, the judges need to understand they need to keep that scale. So, like, if Italo was surfing where he was surfing and doing huge airs, but he was missing like half of the wave, then say it right. The maximum he can get if he's surfing from there to there, no matter what he does, is six. Because if he'd have paddled up the point and then done three airs like done a massive air, rode further, done a massive air, done a road further, done a massive air where he's doing it. What do you then score that? Because you don't leave yourself that scale. Um, to Phipsy's point, if he listens, the event that they just had in Pantin was the opposite of Boardmasters. They really, really scored people. If you was on the best wave and the set wave and you were in critical sections, you were getting the score. And if you weren't, if you were on the shoulder or not on the best wave, and weren't on set waves, no matter how you surfed it, they put a scale on it, and and I think it was the correct way to judge a comp. So yeah, but it is a bit scary. I felt the same about. I thought Italo cooked Jack, but then second heat he was doing all of the same airs. He was racing the wave, missing loads of sections just to do that air, and I kind of was like, surely the judges can't keep just scoring the same air. Like it can't happen, and it didn't. Well, I guess, and then Griff surfed really good and beat him. So
He
yeah,
did. It was unreal. Which brings me, Matty, to something I really wanted to say. Surfer of the event, surfer of the year, for me, Molly Picklum. Like it nearly, she's never going to answer me, but she did come to the pie shop. She just looked head and shoulders above the rest. Oh, I was a bit gutted when I saw. It was just unreal. Like she lost it. It actually was better because she lost the first heat, which meant at the three, which meant she really got to ice the thing. Like with two 15-point title, she tripled Caroline just about in the last heat with
Yeah,
massive hooks and barrels. Boom.
yeah. I couldn't agree with you more that she was the best surfer of the year.
Deserving world champ extraordinaire.
If I know that in the past there was the things about like, Carissa was the deserving world champ and Steph went all the way and stuff like that. I think if Molly didn't win the event at Fiji, it would have been the biggest robbery
Yeah,
since. Because, like, did
would
you
have
see
been
the
bigger than
stat?
Carissa's.
In 11 events, she only once didn't make the semi-finals, or only twice didn't make the semi-finals.
Well, the thing is,
That is mental. That is actually wild when you think about that. And she won an event. Like, points wise, I think sh like on the men's, if it was just done on points and going into the last event, I think all of them could have potentially won it. Like, I think Griff was 6,000 points behind Diego, things like that. Molly was like 20,000 points ahead of anyone.
is she now equal in that conversation with Katie Simmers, which we just got completely annihilated by the American press about? And I'm telling you, I love Katie Simmers. She's just unreal. I like her attitude. She said they have a world title of 10 million. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was
She,
so good.
I just think she's a classic. She doesn't care.
I
She's
I wonder if her answer would be different if she didn't have the world title she already had,
yeah.
as well. But
I just don't know. I think he just wants to get barreled. Oh, it's just amazing. But I think now Molly's in that conversation where them two are in an echelon above everyone, and it'll be
yeah,
interesting to see if Erin Brooks can get there. I don't think Betty Lou can match him. To be honest, I don't think Caroline's a shadow on either of them two. She won a few soft world titles, I thought, and this year could, like as Steve Shearer points out in Spellnet, barely scored over a six the whole year.
I think that that's the difference between like. So I think that Molly and Katie just surfing are definitely a level ahead of the rest of that tour. I think the difference with Caroline, I don't think she got soft world titles as such, and I think the reason she makes the final five and she's consistent is she's as good competitively as Molly and Katie. She isn't as good a surfer, but she will like there'll be heats where Molly
She
puts up.
does look good though. I'm not. She
Yeah,
got fantastic style. She does, but she
and
doesn't
she
do that
gets,
backside. She's got that big backside Rio and everything, but she doesn't tag it with the release that the. She
but she
might.
just.
Someone probably send us a video. I don't know.
I think if you looked at like um some of the older world title winners, like people who've won world tours and people who've been at the top end, like um and some of the people who are coaches on tour now, people say they were never the best surfer, but they were the best competitor or they were smarter. And I think Caroline is, like you said, she's a comp machine. And I think she's smart. I think she sticks to her guns. She's obviously a really good surfer and I think she's got good style and stuff like that. But definitely not on the level of Katie and Molly, especially as the tour introduces more and more waves of consequence to the women's tour as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's going to be really interesting to see, like, 'cause some of the younger girls are sending it. So I don't know. I think they've got the stranglehold on it for a couple of years. Depends on now how many years Katie can hold on to that competitive fire and actually the will to do that. So where do we go next, Matt? Like, what's next for the insiders? Got
Well,
no idea. Are we lost?
no, we're coming into our strengths. I did want to just mention one thing. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but did you see the wave that Griffin got with about 30 seconds to go in his heat against.
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was great. He
If you
could have
made,
got 9. That was very clutch.
I wanted to say to you, so if you're judging it, right, and he doggy doors out of that, are you giving him he needed an 8.73?
Yeah, I would have given it to him. I thought he needed a 9.
I think it was pretty much a 9.
Are
Um,
you in the Are you talking about the final? Yeah, I would have given it
yeah,
to him. He needed it. It was clutch. He did everything.
it was sick, wasn't it? I thought, I was like, it was like 1:30 in the morning here. I don't know, I was still up watching it, and I was like, I nearly, if you'd have made it, I would have let out a little scream and woke up the dog and
So you
me,
know who would have made that in his heyday?
Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just made for it, wasn't he?
Well, he would have made it. They would have he would have made it. He would have got the 9 and the NXT. He would have got. It's the big difference that they haven't seen since is to be able to have that consistency of annihilation. Uh, well, I guess we're going to have to track down all sorts of different surfing personalities. I think there's still plenty of shit going on in the surf world. Matty, did you see that picture I sent through to you? Maybe we should talk about this while it's still fresh.
The picture of you?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yeah, so in answer back to your question, where do we go? We go double turbo now because realistically, free surfing is more interesting to me, and discovering people like Reed that we had on, and we got a cut like been watching a few like Ned Hart clips and been, Torren and um Asher Pacey and the album edits and stuff like that. I think we're in turbo status. But more
I think
importantly,
we're also good that August is behind us.
yeah, I was about to say more importantly, we're going into wave season and you start to get less busy in the cafe. And yes, so talk to me about this photo that is on Instagram now. It looks like you at Lenore.
No, that was down in Guitaree. So me mate Paulie tried to dangle the carrot because remember we had the potty and I said I'm not going.
Yeah,
I was too busy. Like I had 15 people that needed to surf and honestly we were full. But somehow we got a couple of hot days under our belt. That was it, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, we got the first Sunday and the Monday just before it. And then on the Tuesday, I saw this girl that I know that was a guest from a few years ago. And she every couple of years now, she lives for a few months in Guitaree. It's such a beautiful little village. And she put a story up on Insta and it looked unreal. It looked 6 to 8 foot and fun. Paulie was rang me and I was going, I can't come. I was working in the cafe by myself, but there was no one there because it was massive up here. So I just said to him, well, maybe I can check out the webcams. We had a look and I locked the door and within an hour and a bit, we were down there in board shorts and I just had my little Quicksilver impact vest, which has got nothing in the front because I took them out because then you can paddle better.
yeah,
We didn't even look. We come up over the hill, couldn't get a park, saw Gracie, had a quick chat to Gracie. He's, hey, gents, how's it going? Yeah, there's a few. And we've come over the hill and we're going, oh, that's not too big. Look, 6 to 8 foot. But because it was 19 seconds, 2.7 or something, we actually kind of got out there for really like, I think the next morning maybe was bigger, but more predictable because it was more consistent and cleaner. Where we got 6 to 15 foot with bumps down the face. And I refused a couple of waves at first because I was in the wrong position and one wasn't good. And then went for another one, which kind of jacked up at the end. I couldn't really swing with a big long board. So I paddled inside to try and get sneaky. And as I did that, a 10 wave, 12-foot set landed on my head. And I think it was maybe the fourth or fifth wave. You just keep getting sucked and pulled under, like pulled
yeah,
under. Like I was getting back up all right, and then I just kept getting pulled under. And the board was getting pulled under, and I was getting pulled under. And then I think I got a couple of mouthfuls of water. And then I started getting a headache, and my body started aching, and I got a bit worried and was able to swing my board around and get pushed in by this like bus sized amount of whitewash, and I'm on the back of a 9.6 with sharp fins and everything. And then the board went like on an angle tilting, like, when you're
Yeah.
riding and you hit a bump. And then I was like, if I get knocked off here, I'm in big trouble. And somehow didn't get knocked off. And I was sitting on the inside. I thought I was going to vomit. And this guy I know, he was further in from me when the set hit, and he got washed in too. And I saw him paddling back out. Now, here's a good thing for all our listeners and you and whatever you do is ego might not be good sometimes, but I think it's also really good in getting you into situations where you can have the best time of your life or get a job or meet a girl or all those things. And it forced me to go back out because I thought, he looked at me and I was like, I can't not paddle back out because he paddled back out. And I ended up getting a couple of really good waves. It wasn't until later that night when I was in my bed vomiting for 3 hours that I thought maybe that wasn't too smart because I was only at half cast when I got out there. And if I had got another set on the head, they might have needed to call a helicopter. I asked my older son to call the ambulance, but he was like, "Are you sure?" And I think it took 5 or 6 days to get over it. Like I was sore in the chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone said to me, you could get uh, post drowning or something. I don't think it was that.
Yeah.
I think it was because I was sticking my fingers down my throat. Right? Have you ever done that when you're vomiting? I always do it because I
No.
just hate the feeling. I'd rather just vomit. So I've got both fingers down the throat trying to vomit up this seawater, but all I could dry reach was like dry pasta that I'd had for dinner.
Yeah.
And it was hectic, man. It was hectic. So, moral of the story is don't get rattled and sit your ground and don't paddle inside.
Yeah.
A 19-second swell.
Yeah. It got both of us then because like on the last poddy I said it I kicked off of a wave on that Monday night as the swell was building here and it smashed my neck up and like luckily the next week or so was or like 5 days was 4 days was like it was huge here like I would have gone nowhere near it and I know a few boys that went on like wild goose chases actually but then Saturday morning I had a classic one for you so I was like my neck still was like pretty stiff like I could barely look left and stuff on Saturday morning and I took the dog for a walk to the beach and there was waves and I was like oh I'm not going to get in. I literally said out loud, I'm not getting in. Like, it's not worth it. There'll be waves like in the next few weeks. Everything will be fine. As I'm walking off the beach, I see Frank from Rip Curl, and he was like, "You getting in?" And I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to, but I've like done my neck. I really shouldn't." And he went, "Oh, do you know what would be good for it?" And I was like, "Go on." And he was like, "If you get some cement in you and get some grit and some balls."
That's like Bradley saying.
And I was like, "Fuck!" And then like I went home. Like took the dog home, was eating breakfast and like flicked on the webcam and I was like, fuck this, I'm going. And funnily enough, the first half an hour of that surf, I had the worst surf. I was just surfing like a complete moron. Like my wave choice was terrible. I was like, fuck. And weirdly, because you said about ego, so I nearly after half hour, I was like, nah, I'm off this kind of thing. And I nearly paddled in, like, or I caught a wave and nearly was like, "Right, I'm done." And I was like, nah, I can't be done. Like we're out here anyway, we're wet, let's go, kind of thing. Paddle back out. And then surf for another hour. And the next hour had one of the best surfs and surfed like really good for the rest of that surf. And like every wave got better and better. And I was like, and then my neck felt better.
Did you? I was about to say that. Did you surf your neck back into
Yeah,
form? Because that's what
literally.
will happen. You get the confidence, the blood's running through you, and all of a sudden you're loose and you're using those muscles
Yeah.
and it'll loosen up.
Yeah, now my neck's better. And I was like, sweet as a nut. So then I messaged Frank and was like, yeah, that was a good little bit of advice actually. But it wasn't 20 foot at 19 seconds like you had. It was 4 foot and fun.
We've got a good wave tomorrow, so I'm trying to procrastinate what board I put in the car as well for tomorrow morning. I've got to drop some people off.
When you say, what is it like beachy, not Lenore session, like beachy session type?
Yeah, learn how to Lenore session. I think
Lenore, right, okay.
think it's 2.2 at 10. It might be. I don't know because I haven't seen the sand, but it's
Is that
that time.
little like
Feels
little?
like it's that time of year, even though
Yeah, I
it's,
know.
it's not even. It's still summer.
We've got good surf on Friday, which it looks like it will still be working after work, so I'm pretty stoked on that. So what's that for you tomorrow? Is that like a little Rob Vaughan gun session, or is it
Yeah,
going to be?
little 8.3 maybe. I don't think I'm going to go with 9.6. I've got a board getting fixed by Kevin Olsen, so that was the board I would have liked. I've had an 8.10, but I don't know. We'll have to see what the sand's doing. It's been a strange old summer where we haven't been able to surf that sort of stuff. Or even good small fun waves. It's actually like really incredibly annoying at the moment because a lot of people have been here for summer. We just got smashed by a 10-day storm, but I think that happens every year too. Maybe this is just 10 days early, isn't it? You see all the footage coming out of Ireland? That was great.
Yeah, G-Man scored. G-Man got a hell one. Nathan Florence was over there. Um,
Is it blown off the map now, Ireland?
nah, I think it's not blown out, and
It's
I,
just such an intense weather area that I just don't
yeah,
think you can get a whole bunch of bobos living there. A
no,
bobo is a French expression for a yuppie.
yeah. Some hell waves though, some really good waves. Um, where else did I see? I saw like because I said to you, oh, do you reckon Manduka will be working? And then the next day I saw it and it lit up.
Yeah, that looked unreal too, didn't it?
Yeah, that looked fun. That looked like good fun. Um,
Europe had an absolute smorgasbord right there, and then straight after it was just sweltering rain and wind.
yeah, and do you know what was great about it is I didn't actually see that much from Nazare, which is even more of a bonus because that way
Oh,
fucking sucks.
well, we've only got 2 minutes left, Matt, so I just want to quickly get a little bit of insiders gossip because I have read a couple of things and that look like disrespectful. It's only a quick insider's gossip, but I've got it on
On good.
really trustworthy authority from a friend of a friend's uncle's sister, Janice, and her sister Karen told her. But the whole Gabby Richard Marsh thing, it's just a thing of there was too many team on Dog's team that Gabby's family basically had a meltdown on him and quit him. Huh? Was
Yeah.
nothing else. It was as simple as that. Like I think she's got a little bit of a intense uh, parental guidance
It
coming
was a bit of a
along.
strange one, wasn't it? Because like they won J-Bay, like she won J-Bay, Connor won J-Bay, everyone was like dog pound. Leo was cheering her up the beach, like blah blah blah. They looked all happy families, and then two events later, they're like, we're not working with dog anymore and stuff.
Well, what you saw, Drive to Survive, whatever it was, Formula One, that's just how things happen in the world of politics and sport. You can be someone's best mate one day, not talking on to the next. So thanks for listening to us on this exceptional end of the Championship Tour episode, listeners. And we're going to come back to you with all things that are interesting.
We are coming back with some big things, so stick around. And yeah, that's it for the WSL for this time till April.
I hope we get Rihanna. I'm still pushing for her. Au revoir.
Au revoir.